Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Drivemodenjoy. Anna's here!
Hi, for once.
We have some things to do to the Bronco today. Blake is working right now.
Blake is working. Yay.
But we have something to show you, well, kind of before we get there. Do you want to show them outside?
Yes.
Go show them. Alrighty, so you did it.
Yes.
You pulled the trigger.
Yes.
Now, wait, hold on before you open it. Do you want to show them the new wheels?
I mean, yeah, but can't really do that because
Wait, those aren't new wheels. Those aren't Ray's.
you have to go show them on the Bronco.
Because they're already on the Bronco. Go show them, go show them.
Look, look.
You are so excited.
Hobble my way over here. We need to be on the sunshiny side so they can see.
All right, let's go over.
Looky, looky. What color they are.
She is so happy.
Pretty.
Little water spotty, but not a big deal.
Well, yeah, because I had to give her a bath. They still had goop on them from getting mounted, but
So we went back and forth with these wheels. So for a little context, these are Volk Racing 17 by 8.5, -10 offset TE37 XTs. Yes, finished in mag blue, which is
Magnesium
a fantastic color. Now, we went back and forth with this. By the way, look at this fitment, guys. We did.
So I already had some wheel spacers.
Yes, she
For the
already
stock
had
wheels?
some Spider Tracks wheel spacers.
And since I had put those on with the stock wheels, these are the stock tires. And we just had the stock tires swapped onto the new wheels. And when we took it to the shop, I was like, should I just leave them on? And he said, yeah, I'll just leave the spacers on. We'll deal with it later. But I think
The
I kinda
fitment
like
is
how,
so nice.
like, wider is better.
So we also went with the Ray's chrome black center caps. And so this was, actually these were shipped in 3 days, which is really crazy.
Well, we also picked wheels that were already in stock.
Yes, but we were going back and forth with wheels for quite a while, right?
Well, so what I really didn't want was blue that was going to be not blue in certain lighting. Because I've had wheels that were like a really dark purple on a previous vehicle of mine, and you couldn't tell they were purple unless the sun was just perfectly on them.
Right.
And that really bothered me. And so I was worried that this blue would be too dark. So we were debating several other types of wheels, different finishes, different companies, but these were in stock.
We were going between Advans,
Advans,
Works,
and Rays.
Works and Rays.
Notice they're all JDM companies. This is a domestic vehicle. It is what it is, y'all. Like, my tastes have not changed that much.
But you know what the greatest thing about these wheels are?
21 pounds, that's what's the greatest thing.
17 pounds.
Oh, they're 17 pounds?
These are 17
I thought you said they were 21.
No, these are actually 17 pounds, which is crazy because this is almost half the weight of the stock wheels.
So that'll make up for when we put 37s on it.
Yes, it will.
Because that is in the future.
So we are so happy with the fitment. It pokes, yes, it pokes, but it's an off-road vehicle. It can poke.
It can poke.
So that brings us today. No, we are not installing wheels and tires today because we already have that.
Did that. It's not like we have a tire machine anyway.
It's time we address something on the Bronco. We have a ditch light mount over there. We don't have one here.
That's because the other one's still inside.
Yes, so it is time to do ditch lights, ditch light mounts,
Bajas.
wiring. We're gonna do some Baja Designs S4s, S4 Sports, Quadrant Sport, and wire them up to this. And maybe we'll see how far we get on the Bronco, but we're gonna, honestly guys, we have been working non-stop on cars the past couple weekends.
Yeah.
We're taking it easy today.
She's almost done though.
Yes.
Like that was the thing. We were gonna take today off, and then I went and bought tire shine, and I bought wheel cleaner, and I bought leather conditioner, and I was like, I'm just gonna finish the car wash I started yesterday. And then he's like, I kind of want to work on cars.
So we're gonna work on cars.
That's what we are.
Yeah. Anna's gonna pull up the Bronco in the shade.
Yes.
And we're gonna get to it. So welcome back to Drivemodenjoy, more Bronco content. Alrighty, so one of the first steps we're gonna do today, by the way, I love these wheels. She picked so well. We need to pop the hood, so popping. Haven't actually gotten to use her hood struts until today, so hopefully they work. Oh, that's nice. Hood struts are amazing.
It was nice when we were airing up after we went to Bridgeport.
Yeah, it was really nice.
It just pops open.
So, the one thing I have to do first is figure out lengths of wiring, because we need to go from one ditch light to the other, have them converge, and then meet over here. So, yeah, let me do that. All right, so on the bench.
On the bench. Okay, so start here. One of these is already on the car. We added it because we needed a place to put the antenna mount when we did the radio. But this is an SDHQ A-pillar light mount. Anything from the 2021 up Ford Bronco has all the good kit. It comes with a little 3D printed spacer. And one thing I like that I didn't know about when I bought it, these are actually tamper resistant. So you have to have the special little key. So it's a little, I mean, if somebody's going to steal something, they're going to steal it. Yeah. But it makes it a little bit harder. Then along with Baja Designs Lights, we have the little kit that allows you to build harnesses and the actual mounts.
So we actually got it with all the wiring, but I'm going to need to modify this to actually work with the Bronco, and I'll show you that in detail. And then of course we have the S4 Squadron Sport lights, which are, it's what we have on the Tacoma. I think we have like 3 sets of these on the Tacoma.
Yeah, enough. So this will go on bottom here, which will then go here, so that they are nice and adjustable.
Yep, so, good stuff. So the first step is we need to figure out the lengths of wires we actually need, because I don't want a bunch of extra wire hanging on these.
Me neither. Especially since we're going to be going kind of along the same pathway that we used for the other power cable for the...
Similar, yes.
Similar, okay. It has to go to that same front corner.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and do this. Let's take this to the Bronco. Wires. Sorry it's a little bit windy today, guys. It's just gotta deal with it, unfortunately. So what we're gonna do is set you guys up here. Hopefully it's close enough. So yeah, so one wire is gonna go there. We need that one to go all the way across. Then there'll be a ditch light on that side that needs to meet with it. Then one wire loom that goes to specifically one of these grounds. And then remember that loop we had in the wiring? It's gonna be that again. So pretty simple. We're gonna measure it out right now. You excited about this?
I'm glad to get it done. I've been wanting to put these on for a little while. We've had them for a while.
So here, 1 second. So real easy way to do this. They gave us a ton of wiring. So we're just gonna throw this over. Now, could you just connect this all and not cut anything? Sure.
But is that how Rob does anything?
Nope. We do things the right way in this place.
And the right way is Rob's way.
That's not necessarily true. I just want to do it, like, future-proof it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we don't want it to look ugly or stupid.
Exactly. Don't want it to look ugly.
Cheap.
So there's one.
The Bronco's not allowed to look cheap.
No. We do not do cheap. Not with this build, anyway. We have our cheaper builds. Like, the LS is a very cheap build. The Fit is a pretty cheap build.
She's not super cheap.
We'll have to discuss. We've never shown the Fit.
I mean, the Fit also has rays on it.
Yeah.
Or Volks, sorry.
So, like, there to there. So, honestly, if I cut right about there, we should have more than enough wiring for both those. And I can put them together, have a nice connector, really easy to install. All right, so, ready?
Yep.
I mean, there's no going back, but there's kind of going back.
I was gonna say, I would be a lot more nervous if I haven't literally watched you make wiring harnesses for everything on the Tacoma.
So all this junk, the switches and this other stuff that Baja Designs includes, we don't need.
Only because the Bronco has already that all built in,
correct? Yes, yes, yes.
When we did this for the taco, we actually needed some of that stuff, didn't we?
Some of it, yeah, but not all of it. So these are essentially our wiring harnesses. These are already good to go to actually clip into the back of these, so that's not something I actually have to wire up.
Are you going to put those onto a Y cable so there's just one connector
Yeah,
point?
so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wire these up, have a little bit of lead, which I'm actually gonna use from the stock because I know that's the right wire size. And then just have a little bit of wires to where we can connect it where we need to.
Do we need a ground in all of that, or is
Yeah,
it already,
we
is
will.
that already going to be the ground?
Yes, it has the ground.
So I don't have to...
No, we don't need any extra wiring or anything.
Okay, should I, while you do all of that, should I go ahead and go grab some of the wire endings and stuff so that we can start doing all that?
That sounds good. So, montage coming in. All right, so normal, cut off the ends, stripped them. One thing I am doing differently is I actually have the Summit, like, create your own connectors. I'm gonna create single connectors. I'm gonna merge the two wires into one so that I can disconnect it there if we need to at any point.
Okay.
And it makes it easier for me to actually splice these into other wires. So I'm gonna start on that now.
What you doing there, Rob?
So part of this kit, you have this little seal. And since I'm merging two wires into one, I'm having to get this little seal over both the wires at the same time, which is semi-problematic.
You're doing good on it.
But I got one already, so that
seal
one's
on.
almost, yeah.
And then you put the seal on, and then these little green and black things go?
No, so next would be the actual pin. I'm going to use these male pins.
Okay.
And that's what essentially will make them connectable. If that makes sense,
okay.
yeah. So.
Like old school speaker wire, but with like a permanent pin.
Yeah,
instead
so
of
essentially it's like this.
Okay, camera, come on, focus. I know you're out of focus. Let's do the thing.
It's like this. And then you have a special, this is a specialized tool. You have an actual tool that'll do it.
Oh, okay.
And cinch it on there. So, not the easiest thing in the world to do by any means, but
Very delicate.
it is very delicate.
So delicate that the camera doesn't want to focus on the little bits.
Yeah, that's normal.
Autofocus only takes you so far.
So essentially, I have to like coax these in the right position and everything. But once it's done, it'll be serviceable, which is the goal. So what I do first is I hand crimp to make sure it's in there. Then we use this little crimping tool. I'm doing 14 or 16 gauge wire, so it's the very farthest one. And you do this part.
And that crimps down the little tabs.
Yep, crimps down the tabs and the proper so it can't come off. And then you can do the same thing with the back. However, I've learned that if you do it with the back pins, it doesn't like it that much. So I just hand do the back because it's just a gasket anyway.
Cool.
A little fudgery. And then essentially you would take the male piece and throw that on all the way and it will lock in place, which is really nice.
Cool.
Yeah, super good. So one thing I did want to highlight is I have a favorite tip for when you're merging two wires into one or you're doing a splice into one. I like using a zip tie. Putting that zip tie together,
Okay.
of course making it nice, right, and tight. Then clipping it off, right? I actually like heat shrinking over that zip tie
Okay.
because it keeps that in place for essentially forever.
Oh, so now the zip tie holds it together, and then the heat shrink makes it so the zip tie won't ever move.
Yep, so
And over low heat on the heat gun, right?
yeah, it's
Because otherwise
lucky.
you'll melty things.
Yeah, this wrap in particular doesn't like high heat. So just taking it real slow, letting it shrink down. This is a big piece of heat shrink, so And yes, you'll see the zip tie in there, but it ensures that there's more holding that together than just the zip tie or just the heat shrink.
But you do see the zip tie.
Yes, you see the zip tie.
But it's worth it.
But it's now like one piece. You don't have to worry about it like pulling apart and splitting that heat shrink. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So I'm going to continue with the pinning, and this side is almost done. So this is ready. This just needs a sleeve, which is easy.
Sleeve, some heat shrink, and done.
Sleeve, heat shrink, and done. Which is really nice, actually.
Is that the last piece?
Yeah, I think so, actually.
Heat shrink is the coolest thing.
And this heat shrink does actually have glue in it, which I love using personally. That way it can never come back out. So if you look really close, you'll actually see the glue coming out of the heat shrink a little bit.
Oh, is that the shiny
Yep,
black
that's
stuff?
the shiny black stuff. That's glue.
Nice.
All right, so final step.
Put on the clicky piece.
Yeah, this is the right clicky piece. Okay, I had to make sure. It's the wrong way though. Right way. Clicks in. This piece protects it from bending in a weird way or anything. So that's that one. And then the last one. I thought I set it out already. I'm probably just blind. It's probably on the table and I'll find it later.
What, this one? Oh, the piece that goes on it.
Yeah.
I'm looking through the camera lens too, but I'm not seeing it.
I thought
We'll
I
find it when we
pulled
clean
both of
up.
them out, but
If we didn't, we'll find it when we clean up.
I mean, it's the exact same thing again. So snaps in. So now wire harness from start to finish, completely terminated. These will go their respective ways, and we can start to install this stuff. That took a while.
Yeah, we could have skipped all that if we weren't wanting it to be a high attention to detail kind
I
of
want it
thing.
to be
But
nice. Yeah.
yeah, always do. All right, let's go start putting things
Let's
on
do
the
it.
car. All right, so after some discussion, we've decided to use switch number 2 because that's the 15 amp fuse. Switches 3, 4, 5, and 6 are 10 amp. I've already used 6 anyway. Switch 2 is a green-brown wire. You can see Rob digging in there trying to get it out. We decided not to use the first switch because this first switch is a 30 amp fuse. And if I ever want to have any more like intense lighting, like a light bar across the front or whatever, I really want to reserve that for when I'm going to have a higher power draw.
Correct. And I think that's actually the smart move there.
Because right now I'm not planning on wiring, but I'm also married to who I'm married to, and I know how this is going to go in a year.
Dang, calling me out.
When we're out of things to do to the Bronco, we're going to end up doing a light bar. So I already know how this is going to go.
Wow, calling me out.
I know who I married. Who I married has enabled me to have this awesome car.
Yeah, it's true, I guess. So, one thing I didn't show, or I don't know if we showed, the actual power wire, I just made a quick connect there. Yes, there's another quick, I just don't want to have to dig down, so. And then, essentially these are going to connect together. Real straightforward.
So, are you going to need a heat shrinky
Yes.
heat gun over here?
Not necessarily the heat gun, but.
Because that is heat shrinked stuff, isn't
Yes,
it?
I will need a lighter more than anything.
Oh,
Because I can't get, well, I mean, I guess I could get in there with a
we could,
heat shrink.
but that's okay. I have like the lighter I use for the fire pit in the back.
Yeah, that would actually be absolutely perfect. Get this wire in here.
Rob is currently standing on a step stool to be able to reach up in there the way he is.
Yeah, it's not fun either.
Your back is going to be hating you later.
We'll have to blow those out.
All the leaves and dirt and dust and pollen.
The wires that I just cut off in there.
Look at that pollen, dude. Good lord. No wonder we've been miserable lately.
Oh yeah.
You've started oh yeah and like me. I've worn off on you.
Sure.
You just
say.
oh yeah.
Whatever you say.
See?
Okay, I definitely need the lighter.
All right.
If you can get that for me.
I'll be right back. Don't set it on fire.
Alright, happy with that. Now, don't burn myself, obviously.
Although you do almost every time we do anything wiring related.
Yeah, it tends to happen.
Impatient.
So these will just connect. I think we're gonna use, I guess it doesn't matter the ground, I'd probably just this one. Or we could use this far one.
It could be either.
Yeah,
right?
it can literally be either.
Any ground is a ground.
Yeah. Still
That's
a little
a new
hot.
bird song, by the way. Dee-doo-dee-doo. I've never heard that bird before.
I don't know.
If any of you are also random birding people, feel free to tell me what kind of bird that is. I have no idea what kind of wildlife we have.
I don't
living in
know
these
if I'll
trees.
even be able to hear it.
Yeah, but I just sang it.
I'm not gonna even talk about that right now. Okay, so wiring is all done,
Except for the ground. We gotta add the ground in.
which is just an 8mm to right there.
Yep. And then we've got to route it across the front over to the other corner.
Probably hidden under that connector. I made it long enough we can do it under.
Yeah, so when I was looking over there, the length of the wire coming off the light itself is just enough to fit it in the corner of the actual hood.
I could also maybe hide it behind this cowl.
Because like when I was doing it, it comes down to like right here, and then you could maybe put it in right there and then connect it. But we'll figure that out once we probably need to put the actual lights on their ditch mounts first, right? On the pillar mounts, and then we could figure out how to route the wire.
Yeah, we'll get there, for sure.
Next. All right, so hey Rob, you want to point out where that wire comes out from?
So, we were able to remove this cowl and actually run the wire all behind the cowl.
Yep, so you'll see it kind of pokes out behind Rob's hand, and then we took out all the little clips, and then on here, on this other side, you'll notice that we have our other side peeking out right there. Just barely see it. So it is protected behind the cowl and won't ever be a problem moving around or getting untucked, and no zip ties were required. So there on the other side, you see Rob's he just connected to ground, right?
Yep.
And now he's tucking all those extra little wires up over on the side where I already had a bunch of wires anyway, because, you know, wiring is only ever going to be so clean.
And then that wire's ready for the Baja Designs lights.
Alrighty, so other than making sure that the lighting gets underneath the hood to connect to this power cable we just did,
Wiring's done.
We are done under the hood, right?
Yeah, I think we're...
And I think we can put the step stool away.
Yeah. It's so tall. I'm so short.
You're not that short.
So wiring's done.
Time
On to mounting the lights.
Yep.
On to mounting the lights.
All right, so right now, each of the lights come with 2 of these little packs with all the parts necessary. So Rob is now getting all of the hardware lined up so we can get the bracket mounted to the light.
Correct.
And I'm gonna let you do that because that'll probably be easier to do without fingernails.
Definitely easier without fingernails.
Could I? Of course I could. Do I want to? Not really. So yeah. What size thing do you think you need?
It's an Allen. I have to
Come over to
figure it out.
the awesome things of tools.
This is definitely a benefit.
Yeah. Was it worth the time? And the back pain?
It's debatable. I spent 6 weeks doing all those.
In your free time?
Yeah. Almost every night, right?
Yeah. It was a long time. But we haven't lost a tool since you did it.
That is very true.
Not even the 10mm.
Nope, no 10mm lost. Ever.
We also learned a lesson with those long arm Allen heads. We managed to break one, and it turns out Harbor Freight does honestly honor their warranty.
No questions asked.
No question asked. Like, I just showed up with the broken one, they let me swap it out, no problems. I showed up with the broken one expecting to buy a new set to replace it, and they were like, oh, no, we'll just give it to you. I didn't even need the receipt or anything. So they may be cheap tools, but I mean, if they're easily replaceable.
Now, keep in mind, I only get Harbor Freight tools for certain things, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, look at the Milwaukee stuff. We're not exactly cheapskates.
My ratchets, I like Milwaukee because they have more teeth to bite.
Mm-hmm. Backwards?
Not backwards, actually. Okay. I missed a step. So you actually have to put on the bolt to hold this on first.
Oh.
Or you can't.
Or it won't fit in.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So.
Well, that makes sense because that means it's harder to steal. Because I was wondering about that.
Yeah, there's no stealing these. So now I can actually.
It's like one of those crazy puzzles you do as a kid with all the pieces having to go just right.
I mean, just adult Legos, right?
In some ways, yeah.
That's just cars. So.
Adult RC cars. Except you're in the car instead of outside with the controller.
So I'm gonna get these together. We're gonna meet you guys at the Bronco.
Alright, so we're at the A pillar. And first thing we have to do is start removing some of these pieces that say accessory ready. So we can figure out how the wiring is going to get routed through.
Correct. We might have to take off the mirror.
We'll figure it out.
We will find out though. Hopefully we won't have to take off the mirror. Essentially we're doing this side first because we already have the mount on the other side, but we don't know how to run the wires.
Would it be easier to do if the hood was closed?
No.
Okay.
Maybe really no different, to be honest.
That piece lifted up.
Yeah. Is that all we need to get behind there?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. How's this come off?
Well, that piece, one of the things we're trying to figure out, this piece that says accessory ready, it also goes under the mirror a little bit. So we're trying to avoid having to take all of the mirror off. But I guess we'll see. Oh, it just popped right off. No problems. So are we gonna be able to mount it no issue? So.
Yep, we're gonna be able to hide the wires.
So wire through, then put plastic back on, then mounts.
Yes.
So it's gonna dangle for a little bit.
Yeah.
But we'll make it happen. Okay, and while we're here, yuck. I hate parking. Look, we have this massive, beautiful live oak tree, and it's great, except for what it does to my car. So while Rob does his thing, oh, never mind. You're faster than me.
I know.
My ankle's all messed up. I have excuses.
Very true. Can you? This might be a two-hander situation.
Oh.
Oh my gosh! I need a
panel puller.
Yeah, I need something to actually pull it from behind.
Oh, like the long nose.
This might do her.
Okay. We also have, you did buy those super long nose tweezers, or pliers too. They might be easier.
Let me grab them. That's a good call.
Okay. We'll be right back. Alright, so this is going to be a fun perspective to try to show what he's doing. He's coming in from behind where the hood attaches to the car so that he can try to pull that cable under this plastic down through in there.
I got it enough.
Enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
For now.
So now we can
So we need to start.
Put the plastic back down and get the mount in there. Yeah, I can see it. Can you see it? There she is. Boop. And that clicking sound, I think, was the sound of success.
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be very interesting to plug that in, but I think it's gonna be worth it in the long run.
It's gonna look nice.
Because essentially, this just goes back.
What? Front clip, front clip. What up?
Yeah, I see.
Okay.
Yay. And then once the mount is on there, I think it'll hold it all down really nicely. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
On to the mount.
On to the mount. Alright, so Rob is over here prepping the materials. This little 3D printed spacer is actually going to go to partially fill the hole right there. Boom. And then the bracket goes on.
This is really easy.
And bada bang and bada boom.
Yeah. Okay, let me tighten those. Now this one is
Is that are those the ones that have the special anti-theft thingy? Okay, so for these ones, you have to use their provided bit because it has an anti-theft bit. So the insides of the stars have a little pin that sticks out that prevents you from using any bit other than the right bit. Now, of course, just like with anything, if
someone wants it, they can get it.
They'll figure it out. And it's not like these bits can't be bought by somebody who doesn't have preparation in mind. But the average person trying to steal your stuff isn't going to be carrying that bit around. So the most common comments that we get, yeah, I don't know that it'll focus correctly, but you know, that's not going to stop somebody. We know, but it'll stop most somebody's. There's only so much you can do to prevent somebody.
Trust us, if someone wants to steal something, they can steal it. I mean,
we've had lots of things stolen. We know.
Unfortunately, we have had a lot of things. Multiple cars broken into.
Lots of replaced stereos and wheels.
That was more in the like early 2000s.
Yeah, that is true. That's why we got all these lovely cameras everywhere.
Alright, we're getting there.
Getting there. There we go. Boom.
So in theory, we figured we'd need a little bit more.
So Rob already plugged the light in, by the way, so that the cable doesn't accidentally get pulled back out. So
now we can aim it. We're almost there.
Eee, look, it has a light. Eee.
Let me go grab the bolt for it.
Okay. All right, so we're back. Rob is threading the hardware on as I try to find an angle where you guys can see what we're doing. Tiny spaces.
So the hardest part with this is actually getting it where you want and even.
Yeah.
Let me go grab some wrenches.
And then something else, this kit comes with an extra bolt. I'm sure you guys can see this little tiny cutout right here. The bolt is there so that when you adjust it from side to side, you can put the bolt in to kind of lock down the angle if this single mounting point isn't enough. We haven't noticed a big problem with what we've got with the Tacoma, so I'm not super worried about it. But if we've noticed that it doesn't want to stay where it's supposed to stay, that'll be something that we can play with in the future. Checking sizes.
Yeah. 14.
14? The top's probably a 14 too, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's gonna look so good. We're gonna be out tonight. We're supposed to have dinner with some friends, and if we do what we've done in the past, we can find ourselves a fairly dark parking lot, sit in front of a wall, and then just play with the angles of the lights using the wall to make sure that they're at approximately the same space. That's what we've done before. What? You want me to hold it?
I might be able to, actually. Don't tell me the top one isn't a 14.
Does that not kind of match how it usually goes?
You're kidding me.
Well, there's an extra bolt if you want to go take it with you to the tools.
What the heck, yo?
Your inner New Mexico is coming out. Of course it has to be problematic. It wouldn't be an install if there wasn't at least one very frustrating thing about it.
I don't know what size that is. I need to figure that out.
All right, well, we figure that out. We'll be right back. All right, I believe we figured out 9/16.
Maybe. It's, I don't know. It's, yeah, 9/16. So strange.
I mean, multiple companies, right?
So, ditch lights. Let's talk about what they're for and how to use them.
Okay.
Contrary to popular belief, you do not put ditch lights straight forward on your vehicle, because then half of it is actually on your hood and doesn't work. Ditch lights are literally made so you can see the surroundings in the ditch next to where your wheels are. So you want it pointing down just a little bit and outwards. Just a tip there.
That's also why they're not street legal, because you can't use them on streets anyway.
Correct.
So you the amber that you have for, say, a fog light versus the amber for these ditch lights aren't necessarily going to be the same amber.
These are very much not street legal.
Blind somebody to the point where they go off the road.
Uh-huh.
That's not the goal. So based on that conversation, that's why Rob is approximating the angle that he is. Naturally, like I said, we'll probably take her out to a parking lot where we can play with it and see that they're approximately symmetrical.
Because these are floodlights. They're gonna flood. They're not spotlights. So they're designed to have the widest pattern of amber light. By the way, we choose amber specifically because it's really good in dust and dirt
and rain.
That is where these shine tremendously.
So 90% of trail conditions, dust, dirt, and rain. So
this one's complete.
Okay.
This one is on there. How I tend to do things is just this, like, I find a reference point to keep it at on both sides, just so I know it's there. It's also pretty parallel with the mirror coming out. This mirror also has a spotlight as well.
Yes.
So I think these will be good for these. I think they're in a good shape. We're gonna do the other set off camera real quick, and then we're gonna show you the finished
finished ditch lights.
Yeah, finished ditch lights. And a wild Blakey appears.
Hi, Wobby.
How was your day?
That was great.
We just finished.
Finish what?
The ditch lights on the Bronco.
Sick.
So, we need to test them. They seem even, side to side. Let's see, do we have ditch lights? Oh, yeah. Oh, they're bright.
Yeah.
And you have it on which switch?
2.
So,
Aux 2.
nice.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's it, everyone. Ditch lights install on a Bronco. I know it's not the biggest thing in the world, but taking it easy this weekend. We've had a long week, so thank you guys so much for watching. From Anna, from Blakey, and from Rob. Have an amazing rest of your day. If you enjoyed this content, want to see more, please click that like button. It really helps us out.
And don't forget the bell to get a notification whenever there's a new video.
Very true. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time at Drivemodenjoy. Bye, everyone.